Okay, so let's start with the first question. We have Tagaron who questioned, when is Hansi Flick getting fired? And Hansi Flick is not getting fired. Hansi Flick will not be leaving FC Barcelona this season. I think that letting go of Hansi Flick this season, or after this season at the very least, would be a huge mistake. The only way I can see Hansi Flick get sacked by Joan Laporta is if Barcelona's performance overall just plummets, that Barcelona ends like in 3rd or 4th place. We end up getting knocked out in the round of 16 in the Champions League. We don't win the Copa del Rey. We do not win the Spanish Super Cup. But if Barcelona compete well and we still score the same amount of goals that we have been scoring over the past 15 months, and maybe we win about 2 or 3 trophies, maybe let's just say 2 trophies, Hansi Flick will continue. And Joan Laporta and Deco are very fair. Like, they know what Flick is going through. They know that Barcelona are going through many injuries. Flick is somebody that does not like making mistakes. Flick is very self-accountable. He always tries to assess the situation, and Hansi Flick does align with what Joan Laporta and Deco have always said, right? Deco and Joan Laporta are 2 men that know that Barcelona don't have the capacity to say, we're going to sign this player for 110 million euros or like 90 million euros. They know that they have to basically bet on whatever they can afford and the players that are produced by La Masia. And Hansi Flick aligns with those type of ideas. Hansi Flick is not somebody that says, I cannot trust on this squad. I need to sign this player from Arsenal, this player from PSG, this player from Bayern Munich, this player from that player, this player, that player. Flick is not that. Flick is somebody who says, I'm going to get the best out of what I have right now. And so because of that attitude, Joan Laporta and Deco will never say that, oh yeah, Flick needs to leave immediately because Flick does not trust our squad. That is one of the reasons why Xavi Hernandez left the squad, left FC Barcelona, is because Xavi did inform to the media that he needs to sign other players, and Joan Laporta did not like that. The only way I can see Flick separate himself from Barcelona is if Flick himself says, I have no other ideas, like I'm burnt out, I cannot continue at Barcelona because I feel like I'll be hurting Barcelona. And so he leaves, right? That is the only way I can see Flick leave Barca. But as long as Flick aligns with the exact same ideas of Deco and Joan Laporta, everything's going to be okay. And at the end of the day, as bad as things might seem right now, I have a strong feeling that Barcelona will turn things around in the second half of the season starting in January. And we'll get the trophies that we do deserve. Because at the end of the day, Barcelona is still alive in all 4 competitions. Moving on towards the next question, and that is coming from Prana V Pras something 8123. And he has asked, do you think the loss was inevitable? Even if Araujo didn't get the red card, do you think if Pedri started, we would have been able to handle the physicality of Chelsea? And to be honest, dude, like, if Araujo did not get the red card and we had Pedri in the CDM position, maybe it would have never ended 3-0. I think that Chelsea brought in a lot of physicality. The majority of these players were not ready for that type of physicality. They were playing with a lot of passiveness, a lot of just no eagerness to win, and Pedri alone was not going to be able to save this game. However, I think that Barcelona's results in the end could have been diminished. It could have been a 1-1 tie. It could have been maybe a 1-0 loss to Chelsea, but never a 3-0 loss to Chelsea, because the reason why Barcelona lost by a huge margin is because we lost a lot of individual duels. Pedri is a master when it comes to 1v1 duels, and Barcelona made a lot of mistakes in the midfield, like misplacing passes, not going fast enough with the passes, and Pedri is a master at that. So at the very least, I would just say that Barcelona could have had a 1-1 tie, or maybe even a 1-0 loss, worst case scenario. Moving on towards the next question, that is coming from Mari X6627, and he has asked, I've been telling the soft Barcelona fans that until these absolute bums get the F out of my club, we are not winning no UCL. Frenkie de Jong is a fraud. He is a mid player just passing sideways. He sees our attackers making runs. He's not lobbing them the ball. He needs to go, and I've been telling you guys, Araujo is not it. He is slow and garbage. Get him out. He needs to leave in January 1st and exterminate his contract now. Okay, so very intense question, bro. I understand where you're coming from, but let me kind of explain to the masses like why a question like this is being like placed out there, right? Because first of all, I understand why many might say that Frenkie de Jong is a fraud, because I mean, like, look at the misplaced pass that he did to Alejandro Balde that led towards the 2-0 deficit. Frenkie de Jong could have done much better. And to be honest, you look at the past 3 to 4 months, Frenkie de Jong has been really good, really solid as a CDM next to Pedri. Let's all remember where we came from, how much Frenkie has done in the past 3 to 4 months. But at the end of the day, yes, I understand that, you know, you do show your true self when you are in massive pressure, like in these Champions League games. And Frenkie de Jong played with a lot of passiveness. And yes, he makes a lot of sideways passes, and maybe, and I'm not going to be surprised that if I hear Hansi Flick say, we're going to need to sign a brand new CDM, maybe that could be a possibility, and I can see that happening. I can see Hansi Flick saying, we need a brand new CDM, we need a CDM that is much more physical, somebody who is much more vertical, somebody who can complement Pedri even better. But yeah, I do agree that, yes, Frenkie, in certain games, he's very passive. Like, he's sideways passes everything. And I think that we need much more from Frenkie, and given the context of the match against Chelsea, Like when you know that you're facing a team that wants to beat you down, yes, you're going to have to respond much faster. Yes, you're going to have to be much more focused, much more aggressive. But Frenkie sometimes does not respond to that. As for Araujo, I can see why many might say they want Araujo out. And yes, I understand, right? Like, yes, Araujo's mentality is not there. I know that his physicality is there and that his body still exists, but in terms of him being focused and not folding under pressure, Araujo is not it, bro. Like, I think that Araujo needs to take that step down, and I think that Gerard Martin needs to have the promotion over Araujo and to get more minutes. I think that is where Barcelona should be going for the next 2 months, is to have Gerard Martin and Cubarsí at the back, or Cubarsí and Eric Garcia. But in terms of Araujo having his contract terminated in January, I don't see that happening, but I definitely do see some considerations, some talks happening in the summer about how Barcelona can improve their defensive line, and I do think that Araujo might be out the picture. And so now lastly, moving to the question of Ed Rodriguez, 3822. He has asked, I think starting Ferran Torres over Marcus Rashford at left wing position was a mistake. Ferran did not play well and wasted the best chance in the game. Rashford could have started until Rafinha could come in the second half. Do you agree? So yeah, I do agree with you, bro. I do agree that maybe it could have been much smarter to have Marcus Rashford on the left wing position. Like, that miss that he had is not the first time that we have seen Ferran Torres miss like that. Like, Ferran Torres, for some reason, also folds under pressure just like Araujo, but Ferran is a striker, so like he needs to be more composed when he has the ball inside the box and not like just be so antsy and be so easy to punk. Ferran Torres is very easy to punk, very easy to push down. He does give me the Dani Olmo type of vibes, like where if you bring in a Van Dijk or a Militao type player against one of these players like Ferran or Olmo, they're going to go down to the ground very easy. And I see that with Ferran Torres. I don't understand why Ferran Torres has to act in this way. We have signed him back in January 2022, and we have seen very little improvement in terms of him being composed as a number 9 or as a left winger. I think that this is just who he is. He's damn near 27 years old, and Barcelona do need an upgrade on top of Ferran Torres. I have always said, right, that my ideal attacking lineup and how I would have the attack move forward for the next 3 or 4 months at the very least, or where I want to see much more, is to have Rafinha on the right, Rashford on the left, Yamal in the center as a number 10, and Lewandowski up front. I would really like to see that. Like, I would really like to see that because of the pace and the agility and the intensity that it could bring. It brings the pressing that has been missing, and you reward the players that should be there. Not somebody like Ferran Torres. Rafinha deserves to be in the 11. Rashford deserves to be in the 11 because of the goals and the assists. Yamal deserves it. Lewandowski deserves it. As a matter of fact, with Lewandowski, right, like Lewandowski, the only way you can unlock Lewandowski is by making a lot of passes to him, finding him over and over again, because if you keep pressing on those passes to Lewandowski, eventually Lewandowski is going to find you those goals. You cannot really get that with Ferran Torres making those crosses. Ferran Torres is not a master in terms of crosses. He's not a master in terms of 1v1 duels. He's not. Rafinha is a master in crosses. Rashford is a master in terms of 1v1 duels. You get the best of both worlds and you end up feeding Lewandowski much more, maximizing Lewandowski's potential inside the box. You combine that with Yamal and his central threat, it could be amazing, right? Like, you also fix the problem of Yamal always getting hit by a opposition's left back. Like, look at what happened with Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes was ordered to get on top of Yamal and it worked. Look at Cucurella. He was ordered to get on top of Yamal and it worked. And Yamal staying at the right wing position, it is too static. It is too, like, you need to release Yamal. Release Yamal, go, have him go through the center and let him express his emotions. Let him express his style of play and what he wants to do with the ball. Because let me tell you, you tell Nuno Mendes or Cucurella to get on top of Rafinha, you're not going to get that. I promise you. You're just not. Rafinha is a different type of animal in terms of runs, interceptions, 1v1 defensive duels, and there's more verticality on the wings. But that is it, right? So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.